Muy buenas tardes. Vamos a comenzar entonces con la lectura del artículo. The current state of water resources in Poland. Possibilities of water reuse and management by the circular economy. Highlights. The negative effects of the water deficit affect almost all sectors of the economy. The use of chemical fertilizers and agriculture contributes to water pollution. EU water policy encourages member states to implement sustainable water management. The focus should be raising environmental awareness in society. Abstract. Climate change, population growth, and urbanization increase pressure on natural resources. One of the resources under the greatest pressure is water, which is necessary and used in every sector of the economy. To protect water resources, the European Commission has been launching several regulations aimed at sustainable water management. In recent years, these regulations have mainly been related to the implementation of the circular economy model in which used water should be recycled and reused. The paper presents an overview of water resources in Poland and discusses ways of accelerating the usage for reclaimed water. According to the CA concept, the scope of the paper includes a comprehensive analysis of water resources, supported by a SWOT analysis of the possible implementation of CA concept in water management. The SWOT analysis reveals strengths in existing infrastructure and policy supports, weaknesses in public awareness and technological adoption, opportunities in innovation and EU support, threats for climate change. Practical examples from Poland demonstrate the benefits of integrating CA principles in water management, such as improved resource efficiency, reduced environmental impact, and enhanced economic resilience. The study's results highlight the substantial potential for water reuse in various sectors in Poland. Introduction. Water is a limited and susceptible resource, essential for life and development. A number of causes, such as dynamic climate change, population growth, urbanization, improper management of water resources, water pollution, and their excessive use lead to an influence on the water cycle, reduce the predictability of water availability, deteriorate water quality, exacerbate water scarcity, and threaten sustainable development and biodiversity worldwide. Effective management of water resources is of key importance in dealing with the presented effects and requires a holistic approach, combining social, economic, technological, and legal aspects with the protection of natural ecosystems. The establishment of the Water Framework Directive by the European Commission was aimed at unifying the all-inclusive water policy across European Union member countries. The directive obliges all member states to take action to protect inland surface waters, transitional waters, coastal waters, and groundwater. Its primary objective is to enhance the quality of both surface and groundwater while ensuring a sustainable equilibrium between natural process and human endeavors, in line with the principles of sustainable development, complementing with the WFD. The EU has introduced the regulation of minimum requirements for water reuse, which sets uniform criteria for the safe reuse of treated wastewater for agricultural irrigation and other purposes. This regulation is particularly significant for member states lacking specific legislation on water reuse, ensuring a high level of health and environmental protection across the EU. When Poland joined the EU in 2004, it committed to implementing EU regulation into national law, including a number of directives on environmental protection and water management. Of key importance were, among others, the WFD on urban wastewater treatment, directive on the quality of water intended for human consumption, and a regulation on minimum requirement to water use. The status of implementation of these legal acts in Poland is presented in Table 1. The WFD is implemented, among others, in Poland through the Act of 20 July 2017 Water Law. This act regulates water management by the principle of sustainable development. In particular, the shaping and protection of water resources and the use of water and the management of water resources. According to the water law, water resources management in Poland is conducted by taking into account the division of the country into river basins, water regions, and catchments. The water law regulates several aspects of water management, including ensuring adequate quantity and quality of water for the population, flood and drought protection, protection of water resources against pollution and inappropriate or overexploitation, maintaining or improving the condition for aquatic and water-dependent ecosystems, providing water for agriculture and industry, creating conditions for the energy, transport and fishing use of waters, and meeting the needs related to tourism, sports and recreation. The act was implemented to prevent the negative effects of climate change in Poland. Climate change has led to meteorological drought in recent years, resulting in water deficits over a large country area. Change in the hydrological cycle, including change in the intensity and distribution of precipitation throughout the year, can also cause a water deficit, and reduced flow in rivers and streams can cause increased concentration of dangerous pollutants. In Poland, the implementation of water reuse policies is still in its nascent stage. Unlike countries such as Portugal, Italy, Spain, Cyprus, and France, which already have comprehensive legislation and practice in place for water reuse, Poland lacks specific regulation governing the quality of reclaiming water. by the decision of the Minister of Infrastructure on 22 June 2023. It was established to temporarily exclude the territory of the country from the application of the regulation on minimum requirements for water reuse. This decision is based on an analysis of the economic, environmental, and resource aspects of the operation and implementation of potential projects related to the production, storage, and distribution of reclaimed water. Despite this, Poland, along with other EU member states, is striving to reduce reliance on conventional water resources by introducing modern technologies and establishing appropriate legal frameworks for water recovery and reuse. One of the actions is the implementation of the regulation of the Minister of Infrastructure of 15 July 2021 on the adoption of the Drug Effects Counteraction Plan. The plan aims to minimize the effects of drugs by implementing measures enabling rational management of water resources, including water reuse. One of the objectives of the plan is to undertake action aimed at water reuse, primarily promoting technologies based on the effective use of water in industry and water-saving irrigation techniques. At the level of individual farms, the use of grey water is promoted, which will significantly reduce the consumption of water from conventional sources. On the other hand, and the use of rainwater will contribute to delaying the outflow of water from the catchment area and reducing the use of tap water or from individual intakes. From 2015, the EC emphasized the importance of sustainable management of water resources by presenting the EU Action Plan on the circular economy. The plan aims to create a sustainable, low carbon, resource efficient, and competitive economy. This will enable the transformation of the economy into one in which products, materials, and raw materials remain as long as possible, and waste is treated as secondary raw materials. The action presented in the plan will ensure the independence of the EU in raw materials. The transition to a CE is already underway in EU member states, including Poland, and all strategic documents have been updated and adapted to the current needs of the EC over the years. Action plans on the CE also had its update in 2020. As part of the economic transformations, ensuring sustainable and circular management of water resources is a key strategic objective. The CE necessitates the implementation of comprehensive alterations throughout the entire value chain, encompassing the collection of water from primary sources and its use in all sectors. In the presented action plan, the EC emphasizes the importance of reusing and economical management for water, inter alia in production processes and agriculture. One of the most important executive acts regarding the transformation towards a CE is regulation of the European Parliament and of the Council of 25 May 2020 on minimum requirements for water reuse. The regulation sets out a detailed framework for water quality monitoring and risks management principles for the safe use of reclaimed water for irrigation in agriculture, encouraging the use of this practice to prevent the effects of droughts and water scarcity. The regulation also aims to ensure that all people have access to fresh water and adequate sanitation throughout the sustainable management of water resources. The paper presents an overview of data on the current quantitative and qualitative state of water resources in Poland and their effective management. The negative effects of the national water deficit in the municipal, industrial, and agricultural sectors were presented, as well as the possibilities of its reuse. A diagnosis of the threats of the 20th century in the context of Poland's water resources has carried out. The second part of the article presents a SWOT analysis of water reuse in the phase of the transformation towards CE. The final phase of the paper is a discussion of legislation in selecting EU countries that commonly use reclaiming water. Material and methods. The paper presents the current state of water resources in Poland and the possibilities of water reuse on the specific examples from Poland by the CE concept, conducting a comprehensive analysis to the available literature using the desk and research method. The paper was developed in four stages. The literature review. The literature review was conducted using the desk research method, analyzing publication accessible through popular databases such as Elsevier Science Direct, Elsevier Scopus, Google Scholar, a Multidisciplinary Digital Publishing Institute, and Bastage. The research was performed using keywords such as water management, water resources, water reuse, circular economy, and water in the circular economy. Water resources in Poland. The review was conducted between September and December 2024 and focused on identifying and conducted between um, identifying and silencing research related to water management, water reuse, and the integration of water systems to circular economy frameworks, with particular attention to the Polish context. Legal regulation about water resources at the European and national levels, as well as statistical data, were sourced from databases including EURLEX, Eurostat, European Environment Agency, the Central Statistical Office, and the Internet System of Legal Acts. Qualitative content analysis was used to extract recurring themes, identify concepts, and identify knowledge gaps. Sources were categorized based on their thematic focus and geographical relevance. The review aimed not only to provide a conceptual foundation for the study but also to situate the Polish context within European trends. Selected data from literature items formed the basis of this paper. The risk in using this method is that usually the literature source state does not include all available scientific items relevant to the subject being studied. Bueno, básicamente este artículo trata sobre la relación entre los recursos hídricos y la economía circular en Polonia, ¿sí? Tomando pues como base un estudio aplicado directamente allí. Em, pues el artículo parte de una realidad que es crítica que todos conocemos y es que el agua es un recurso limitado y esencial para la vida y para la economía como tal. En Polonia particularmente existe un déficit de, de recursos naturales como el agua, que es bastante grande, ¿sí? Que viene hace bastantes años ya, con factores como el cambio climático, la urbanización a gran escala y el uso intensivo del agua redujeron pues como la disponibilidad y la calidad del agua. Entonces, la Unión Europea impulsó la economía circular como alternativa. En el caso del agua significa como pues en mayor medida tratar de reutilizarla lo máximo posible y no depender únicamente de las fuentes naturales, como el aprovechamiento de las aguas residuales tratadas, la recolección de agua de lluvia y el uso de aguas grises en hogares o en industrias. El estudio también trae un análisis DOFA que, que resume pues como tal la situación, fortalezas como la infraestructura que ya existe y el respaldo político de Europa, de la Unión Europea como tal, debilidades como la baja conciencia ciudadana y la lenta adopción de tecnologías, oportunidades en innovación, proyectos europeos y cooperación internacional, y amenazas derivadas pues ya de un tema que no se controla, así como las sequías o el cambio climático. Entonces, ya como estudiante de ingeniería financiera, pues el tema primero trata, o bueno, pues nos da a entender que el agua no es solo un recurso natural, sino un activo económico estratégico. Segundo, la escasez de agua genera costos y riesgos que deben ser considerados en la planificación, ¿sí? Ya sea en la vida o en una compañía como tal. Y tercero, que los proyectos de reutilización y las tecnologías circulares requieren de inversiones y de modelos de financiamiento que sean sólidos, que eso es lo que nos compete a nosotros. Y también, pues ya en este caso, en el caso europeo específico, la regulación europea le abre oportunidades para proyectos sostenibles a los diferentes países pues, que la integran, con rentabilidad y responsabilidad ambiental. Esto sería todo, muchas gracias.